Seeing Double. A Reverend Paltoquet Supernatural Murder Mystery by Pat Herbert. Read by Tony Robinson. Chapter 1. The rain was falling out of a dark slate sky that cold March morning. By contrast, the lights shone viciously out of the steamy windows of Fred's cafe, just off the Wandsworth High Street. It was 8:30, and the cafe was crowded with customers, some on their way to work, some on their way from it. They were mostly men, some dressed for the city, but the majority dressed for a day's work on a building site or delivering coal or milk. They were all known to Fred very well, apart from a funny-looking little man with a strange orange complexion. He had been sitting in the corner more or less since opening time at 6 o'clock, when he had ordered a cup of tea, which had remained untouched ever since. Every time Fred tried to remove it, the stranger had stopped him. "Thank you," he had said. "Leave it there, please. I will drink it soon." "But it's been sitting there for 2.5 hours, said Fred. "It must be stone cold by now." The man had just smiled. "I like it that way. Never fear," he said. Fred had gone back to serving behind the counter, scratching his head. That one would bear watching, he thought. He looked the type to skip out without paying. Fred kept one eye on this strange apparition while continuing to serve other customers, who were now thinning to a mere trickle. He couldn't decide whether to throw him out, but, as the table wasn't required at the moment, and as he appeared to be harmless, he decided not to bother. What an odd-looking individual, thought Fred, studying him carefully from behind his tea-urn. He didn't even look like a proper human being. There was something otherworldly about his appearance, like someone who had little to do with the day-to-day banalities of earthly considerations. He had a benign, far-away expression on his face, and seemed unaffected by his surroundings. The more Fred stared at him, the more peculiar he seemed to become. His head, which looked much too big for his small frame, was shaped like a pumpkin, and of a similar hue, only more orange, if anything. His oversized ears protruded at right angles from the side of his equally large head. His hair, which did not extend down past his ears, was poised precariously on his crown, looking in danger of falling off with the least puff of wind. It was the colour of dirty straw, and seemed of a similar consistency, contrasting oddly with the shade of his complexion. Fred tried to guess his age while absent-mindedly serving a timid old lady with a cup of tea and a bun. He looked to be anywhere between 20 and 120, a best guess putting him around the 50 or 60 mark. He was dressed strangely too. If he had been sitting in Fred's cafe back in the early part of the 20th century, around 1930, then he would have looked the height of chic and elegance. But a quarter of a century later, it couldn't be said that Oxford bags were the in thing, except possibly along the towpath at Henley. His highly decorative cravat was also of a type rarely seen in the heady days of the late 1950s. As the clock hands moved to 9 o'clock, the morning rush ended, and Fred's only customer now was the strange man in the corner. There would probably only be a small trickle of people up until the lunchtime rush, although the builders on the site across the street usually came in around 11 for a break.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?